Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
We begin with breaking news tonight as the search for a missing Sumner County teenager with autism reaches a critical stage. Please take a look at your television screen right now. This is Sebastian Rogers.
Well, tonight's dropping temperature raising the pressure to find the 15-year-old who disappeared 3 days ago. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller back on the story for us live in the Shackle Island community where people are turning to prayer to bring Sebastian home. Caitlin, what's the latest?
Yes, well, as you can see behind me, multiple agencies are working tirelessly to bring Sebastian Rogers home. But the support goes beyond this. Several people from the community gathered here tonight for a prayer vigil. Now, tonight, the community hosted this vigil at the church called Northfield Church in Gallatin to come together as a community to pray that Sebastian can return home safely. Now, we spoke with the director of Sumner County Emergency Management, Ken Widener, and he says today they've expanded their search even more. Widener says they're concerned about the heavy rainfall earlier, dropping temperatures, and the potential for hypothermia. So he says it's critical to find him as soon as possible.
I just hope that the family sees and knows that there are lots of people, even though we can't be there, we're there and we're lifting them up in prayer and we're caring about them and we're caring about Sebastian and just supporting them in any way that we can.
Sebastian is 5'5" with brown hair and brown eyes. Widener says he was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt and sweatpants with glasses on. Now, coming up in the next half hour tonight, we'll hear from the Sumner County Director of Emergency Management as to what you can do to help out with this search. Reporting live from Sumner County, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Caitlin, thank you. Now, the search for missing children is always a top priority for both community leaders and law enforcement like the TBI. Well,
the TBI, speaking of, has an active Amber Alert out for 5 other children here in Tennessee right now.
Here's one of them. 5-year-old Summer Wells disappeared from her home in East Tennessee back in 2021. Such a big story. Agents spent weeks combing through the brush and woods and wilderness in and around Rogersville. She turned 8 earlier this month, and the TBI took the occasion to remind all of us that she's still missing and the search is still active.
An Amber Alert is also still active for 9-year-old Chloe Leverett and 7-year-old Gage Daniel. Back in 2012, a fire at their Bedford County home took the lives of their grandparents. No one ever found any sign of the children in the rubble. Neighbors did spot the children playing outside the same night as the fire. And
another cold case here, this one Sumner County, a 4-month-old at the time. Zaylee Fryer vanished from her home in Millersville in 2011. She has a brown birthmark on her right leg. Her mother, Shauna Fryer, was found dead in Nashville the very day that Zaylee disappeared.
On February 20th, 2022, 2-day-old Kennedy Hoyle disappeared. While the Amber Alert is still active, Memphis police say the child's father admitted to killing the little girl and her mother. The alert remains active and online since police have never found her body.
If you would like to learn more about the cases of any of these missing children, and please take a look at those, share on your socials. Go to our website, fox17.com, and search Amber Alert Tennessee.
And my only request is that the members of this board be willing to work with us and try to find a compromise.
Tonight, crisis in the classroom. Parents, students, faculty members at Martin Luther King Jr. Magnet School in Nashville collectively demanding answers after Metro school leaders announced plans to phase out the middle school without warning. The district says dumping 7th and 8th grade would make more room for the high school. But as Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker shows us, critics say that plan ignores an inconvenient truth.
Right now, MLK Magnet has academic requirements in order to get in. Now, parents and staff tell me because of those standards, students can learn at a much quicker and advanced pace, making it a seamless transition into high school. This is the email sent out from MNPS last December, announcing the, quote, exciting future plans to restructure the current model at MLK Magnet High School.
I sent my first email to district leaders on December 15th. I did not get a response from anyone, whether it was my local representative, the representative from District 5, which is where MLK is, or any other district leaders that I reached out to until Monday.
Lauren Herring is one of many parents speaking out about what she calls a lack of transparency.
There was no discussion from especially the middle school staff at MLK as to whether or not this was the right thing to do.
She, along with several others, spoke out in a school board meeting Monday night, including a senior at the high school who also serves as the student body president.
Not a single MLK parent was consulted, and yet this plan is moving forward. Not a single MLK student was consulted, and yet this plan is moving forward. Not a single MLK teacher was consulted, and yet this plan is moving forward.
Fox 17 News also spoke with a faculty member who wants to remain anonymous, who said there's currently a long waiting list to get into the highly ranked middle school, while the number of students in the high school grades fall under projection.
And it doesn't make any sense to me why we would take away something that is working so well and shift it somewhere else and rename it.
We brought these concerns to every single member of Metro School Board, but we didn't get a response. We also asked MMPS a series of questions, like what research or data was used to come up with these plans. Not all our questions were answered, and we were referred to a school board meeting from last year. We also got a statement that says, in part, the transition to a new model creates more grade level seat capacity, a head magnet, and MLK magnet for future students. The 9 through 12 model is phased in over the period of 2 years, starting in 2026 to 2027 and concluding in 2027 to 2028. In Nashville, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Crisis in the Classroom is our ongoing commitment to you, our viewers, to expose problems in our schools and to find solutions. If you have a story you'd like to see us cover, send us an email to news@fox17.com, or you can phone our tip line. That number at the bottom of your screen, 615-266-4149.
New tonight, Springfield police identifying the woman killed in a freak accident. This is video from Smoky Barn News. The Tennessee Highway Patrol says a falling tree hit Laurel Suggs' car. It ended up taking the roof off of her vehicle before the car then rolled down an embankment. Investigators right now blaming high winds and saturated rain on the ground. All right, Katie, we had that weather that moved through today, and it was brief, it seemed like, this morning, at least for us.
Yeah, it came through quickly, and the temperature dropped.
Oh, my.
Crazy fast.
That was the big
right?
thing.
You told us it was coming.
So fast.
Yeah, it really did. It only took a couple hours' time, and it dropped from the 60s this morning to the 40s. Radar is showing a nice dry picture now, and the good news is everything is going to be clear, although cold for tonight, but at least we're looking at quiet weather. Right now, things looking fairly active for a Wednesday night here on Broadway. Folks not deterred by the weather, sitting at 39 degrees with a partly cloudy sky for the moment. We are a good 30 degrees below where we were yesterday, 30 degrees colder, closer to 40 in fact for Hopkinsville. So this time last night we were 40 degrees warmer in Hopkinsville. Overnight lows will drop back to about 28 here in town. We'll look at 27 in Murfreesboro and mid to upper 20s out towards the Cumberland Plateau. Coming up, we're going to talk more about when we'll see some warmer weather for one. Also some rain. It's already in the forecast. We're going to track that for you. And have you noticed some dust and or dirt on your car? Nice little film. I have an answer for what it is and where it came from. That'll be a little later in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
I remember coming back to the table and picking up my drink, and then I guess I don't really remember much afterwards. It was kind of just blank.
Night on the town, downtown Nashville changes that woman's life forever. Her warning to all of us.
And leading the nation, but not in a good way.
We have a huge inventory for all your vehicle needs. We've got a huge service department with 40 bays, quick lane bays, and a whole nother set of service areas.
That's Batesford 11 in Tennessee, where we'll trade for anything it don't eat.
That's someone taking like a piece of you.
1 out of every 6 women in this country is a survivor of rape or attempted rape.
A trauma so great, one woman tells Fox 17 News she no longer feels safe downtown.
Survivors in the Nashville area want the city to do better
and take these numbers seriously.
Fox 17 News' Amanda Chen continues to push for answers from city leaders.
Now, we want to warn you, the story that we're about to share may be triggering.
Half of assaults across the country are often paired with alcohol and date rape drugs. It's a challenge that's come to the forefront here in Music City, with survivors sharing their stories, hoping to help others.
Tori Reisner doesn't feel safe going downtown anymore. Reisner always called herself the mom of her friend group, making sure everyone else is okay. But when the Goodlettsville native decided to go out on Broadway Halloween weekend, everything changed.
I'm never the type to ever black out. Now, of course, I drove. Like, I'm not going to be the one to, like, just get completely belligerent drunk.
Reisner says she left her drink with her friends for just a few minutes.
I went to the bathroom and I remember coming back to the table and picking up my drink, and then I guess I don't really remember much afterwards. It was kind of just blank.
She doesn't remember anything other than waking up on her front porch the next morning. Her wallet was missing.
I had texts and calls asking me like where I was and tracking my location, and they saw that I was at home, but nobody like knew where I'd went.
Someone eventually found her wallet on the interstate, empty except for her ID and social, with mud all over it.
I don't know who I was with, what I was doing, how long I was from the bar to my house. I'm angry, mostly because you're supposed to feel safe with yourself, and it hurts.
Reisner says she didn't file a report. Before talking to us, she never really talked about what happened to her. It was that traumatic.
I've seen stories, obviously, where, you know, you file a report, you go to the hospital, you get checked, and it never goes anywhere. You wait, and it's a waiting game. And that point, like, there's 4 or 5 more victims that are in the same predicament, and at that point it's like, what's the point?
So what's the city doing to help when these incidents happen? In 2018, the Sexual Assault Center became a safe bar trainer for Tennessee. This initiative works with local bars and restaurants to raise awareness about alcohol's role in sexual assault and engages bar owners and staff in bystander intervention. For years, our reporting has shown only 2 bars in the Broadway area were a part of the program, Teddy's Tavern and Whiskey Bent Saloon. In the past few weeks, Friends in Low Places and Cerveza Jack's officially joined. This month, Tootsie's, Luke's 32 Bridge, FGL House, Jason Aldean's, and Miranda Lambert's Casa Rosa announced they will also become safe bars.
Why do you think it took a little bit longer to get restaurants and bars on board?
I think there was some misconception about having the program, right? That if we train, are we saying that we have a safety problem versus using this as a preventative measure? Because that's what this is.
Benton McDonough, Nashville's night mayor, believes every single bar should take the training.
Do you feel that there should be other initiatives to help alleviate this date rape problem?
It's something that we're trying to be proactive about, and I know from speaking with the Sexual Assault Center, they think that what we're doing right now is being proactive and trying to basically head off any sort of issue that you see in a lot of big cities now.
For Reisner, she doesn't even go to bars on Broadway anymore. She's too paranoid.
It's hard to process, like, I feel the emotions and then I don't want to deal with it. That's someone taking, like, a piece of you.
And she wants others to know they're not alone.
Councilmember Stiles tells me they are now working on expanding the Safe Bar program to districts where each council member will talk with restaurants and bars in their area to become a certified safe bar. Reporting in the studio, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, back to the weather. I know we had plenty of rain, but all I feel is just the rapid turnaround in temperature.
Yeah, you really could feel that.
Yep, and we'll be chilly for tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be our coldest day that we see, and we should begin to climb out of the freezer from there. But tomorrow, temperatures struggling to reach 50 for the afternoon. We check it out area-wide here. Overnight, we drop back into those upper 20s. We'll head into about 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Right around 28, 29 here in Nashville, as well as the Plateau, Murfreesboro, Dickson. We head into the upper 40s for the afternoon. This is right around 3 o'clock, hovering at that 49, 50 degree number with a mainly sunny to partly cloudy sky. Later half of the day, though, we will start to see cloud cover roll in, and this is ahead of our next rain chance, which is on the way by Thursday night, early Friday. So a lot of the rain coming in for Friday here. We are dry for the weekend, so that's good news. And we will start next week with a few showers and thunderstorms. So let's walk you through the next 24 hours here. And high pressure remains in control. Does keep us sunny for the day on Thursday. Showers to the north, or should say south and west, starting to stream in here. And that'll be late Thursday into early Friday. So we check out a little closer to home. This is 5 o'clock in the evening tomorrow. 10 p.m. clouds starting to stream in, and those showers will arrive after midnight. Good news is severe weather not on the table with this, but we will have some rumbles of thunder possible as we get into the afternoon. This is 9 a.m. A couple pockets of moderate rain here, and then a little bit later in the afternoon we'll continue to find sort of we'll call it dots on the radar of some heavier pockets, maybe again that rumble of thunder. As we go through Friday evening, scattered showers continue, and they will finally taper off as we head into early Saturday. Now, very early Saturday we may see a stray shower, but it does look like the rain will clear by mid-morning, and we're left with a pretty nice day as we head into the afternoon. So, did you see any dirt or dust on your car? The rain coming in for Friday may actually bring in another round of it. What I think it is, I think it's a combo of dust and smoke from wildfires in the Texas Panhandle, which have been a big story going on the last couple of days. And then in New Mexico, and also I saw this evening in Arizona, in Phoenix, they are going through some dust storms right now, and I think it is a combo of that. We're going to talk about how that's possible a little bit later, coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Thank you, Katie. Topping the nation in potholes, where Tennessee is spending the most money on fixing our state's pothole problems.
Hey there, I'm Fox 17 News this morning anchor Erica Glover. Calling emergency dispatchers, it's getting easier. We're going to tell you how a new video chat.
One day only. Take an extra 10% off everyday low prices. Plus, get 12 months free financing. This Thursday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Don't miss it. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
New tonight, a judge removes former President Donald Trump from the primary election ballot in Illinois. The judge making that ruling based on the 14th Amendment's insurrectionist clause, a ban. Mr. Trump can appeal. Colorado and Maine also removed Mr. Trump from the ballot there over his role in the January 6th assault on the Capitol. This decision in those states currently on hold, however, pending an appeal.
We'll get this. A new survey that tracks tweets about pothole problems found that Tennessee had the most complaints. So where in the state have our crews done the most patching? Let's take a look here. Now, out in Region 1, this is out in the Knoxville area, 1.2 million complaints. And they've used a lot of hot mix and cold patch. Now, out in Region 2, this is Chattanooga area, they have used 5 million half a million pounds of mix and patch. Out in Region 3, this is the Nashville area, topping the list here, 2 million pounds of mix and patch. And as we continue on, Region 4, this is the Memphis area, they've used 1.7 million pounds of mix and patch. But we want to know what you think. How is TDOT doing in responding to the pothole problems? This poll's live right now. We've had about 385 votes that have come in, and the overwhelming majority here, 60.3% say poor, 34.5% say fair, 5.2% say good. This poll's live right now. To cast your vote, you can scan the QR code right there on your screen. It will take you to our X page where you can weigh in.
Domestic violence,
pushing, shoving, strangling, choking,
Repeated head blows.
head against the car.
Brain trauma.
I don't remember my mom ever not having a headache.
Spotlight on America investigates.
This is definitely a field where we need a lot more investigation.
We take a closer look at domestic violence and CTE tomorrow on Fox 17 News at 9.
The search for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers continues, while agencies say they're very concerned about the weather ahead coming up next.
Fair, but they're not. I can help.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by B.F. Myers Furniture.
Well, 3 days of searching, still no sign of the missing autistic teenager, Sebastian Rogers. Tonight, the freezing cold temperatures are putting new pressure on first responders. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live in the Shackle Island community of Sumner County, where people are now turning to prayer for help.
Yes, well, there are hundreds of people out here searching for the 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. And the director of Sumner County Emergency Management says that they've expanded their search and they're not giving up. Now, the director, Ken Widener, says that they're concerned about the heavy rainfall, dropping temperatures, and the potential for hypothermia. So he says it's critical to find him as soon as possible. Widener says they are using all the resources they can to find him, including horses, ATVs, drones, helicopters, and more.
We talk to the family multiple times every day. Mom and stepdad were in early, then Dad was in a little later, and we talked to them for over an hour. Brought them up to speed on what we were doing, and we've been able to sit back and talk, and you know, we share their concern. And you know, it's extremely hard on them.
Sebastian is 5'5" with brown hair and brown eyes. Widener says he was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt and sweatpants with glasses near Beach High School. Now, Widener says if you are in the area in Sumner County, to please keep a lookout on your property, and if you do receive any leads, to call 911 immediately. Reporting live from Sumner County, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
In education news, Rutherford County Schools right now testing a new security system that will automatically detect weapons on campus before anybody gets in. Being paid for with state money, Oakland Middle School has volunteered to be among the first traditional schools to test this system. Units right now are being used at the district's 2 alternative schools as well. Now, the systems are very similar to the ones that you see at major sporting venues like Bridgestone Arena and Nissan Stadium. Everybody who enters the school building will walk through these 2 upright poles which scan for weapons. If the systems detect a possible weapon, the person will be moved to the side for a more thorough scan by personnel from the school.
Well, we start at the bus stop for tomorrow morning, and it is going to be a cold start to the morning. We'll see temperatures hovering around 30 degrees for the afternoon hours. Looking at least a partly cloudy sky as we head through the day, but it's going to be a chilly one for sure, so kids will definitely need to bundle up at the bus stop for tomorrow morning. As we take a look ahead, though, this chill is not going to last too long. Our weekend, pretty good, especially since we're looking at the first weekend of March. Right around 68 here for Saturday, 72 as we head towards Sunday. And again, looking at both days to be dry for us. We'll look at those warm temperatures to be around. Just for perspective, our average is usually around 58, 59 degrees. So this is going to be good 10 degrees above average for this time of year. Better mornings too. You notice those overnight lows in those low to mid 40s for both Saturday and Sunday morning. Well, tomorrow morning you will hear tornado sirens going off in Middle Tennessee. Code Red meteorologist Brett Luna explains why you don't need to worry.
Well, it's Severe Weather Awareness Week, and now we're going to talk all about tornadoes. We're also going to go back to a leap year back in 1952 when we had a strong tornado move through the southeastern part of our viewing area. This is February 29th, 1952. That tornado moved through Lincoln County right through Fayetteville. It started at 4:30 p.m. that day, was on the ground for 7 miles, had a path width of 300 yards, and maximum winds up to 260 miles per hour. A very strong tornado back down there in 1952. Real quick, too, the difference between a tornado watch and a tornado warning. Tornado watch means conditions are favorable for tornadoes to develop. A tornado warning means somebody's actually seen it, or looking at radar, we can tell that there's good rotation there enough for the National Weather Service to go ahead and issue that tornado for that storm that either has produced one or is capable of producing a tornado at any moment. Also, want to give you all a heads up, too. This is going to be for Thursday morning, a statewide tornado drill starting at 9:30 a.m. You're going to hear the tornado sirens. We do not have a tornado threat for tomorrow. This is just a test. Also, if you have NOAA weather radios, those are going to go off as part of this test as well.
I know what he means to the city and to the team, and I'm looking forward to getting to know him.
The future of King Henry, what the Titans' new head coach had to say about holding on to the king.
And a chance to
me what to do, and they helped me and my family, and we're really grateful.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
Really excited about how we're set up and how it's going to work in this draft process.
Titans' new head coach Brian Callahan gearing up for his first NFL draft, and it all starts this week at the NFL Combine. Of course, the draft is the biggest part of the offseason in April for NFL teams, but free agency comes first, and the Titans have a big decision to make about a certain franchise running back. Coach Callahan and General Manager Ran Carthon have both been in touch with Derrick Henry and had this to say when it comes to the future of the King.
I think that there's a great relationship with him and the organization, that I know that he's always going to have the Titans in his heart. So whatever that looks like moving forward, we'll keep working through it. But I know what he means to the city and to the team, and I'm looking forward to getting to know him.
Derrick and I had a good conversation on the way out, and he knows where we are and we know where he is. I think you guys that have been around, a year know that we don't really talk about, players' contract status in public. But we'll be well positioned to do whatever we need to do.
Now, Carthon isn't exaggerating about being in a good position. According to the NFL Players Association records, the Titans have the most salary cap space of any team going into the offseason at around $90 million. That's a lot of play money. Now, that front office trying to make this franchise one of the best. And while taking a look at this might help, the NFL Players Association released its team report card today, and the Titans were graded as the 18th best team to play for. Now, keep in mind, this is from last season with the old coaching staff, and ironically, one of the highest grades belonged to former head coach Mike Vrabel. The lowest grades belong to travel because the Titans are one of the few teams to share a room on the road. The other low grade, treatment of family. Titans don't have a family room on game days, which is why players graded the team with a D. Nashville SC back in action tonight, hosting Mocha FC for the first round series of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And good news is Nashville already beat the team in their first match last week on the road. So all the boys in gold have to do is win, tie, or lose by less than 3 goals. And they're moving on to the round of 16. Now, good news is Nashville held nothing back at the Castle tonight. Similar to last week, boys in gold got right to work, and 13 minutes in, Alex Neal with a beautiful cross and Mackenzie Gaines with the first goal of the game. Nashville then kept the scoring going. 37th minute mark, Forrester Wickham Ayago nets the second goal of the game. Nashville taking this one by storm, currently leading 4-0. Now, if they pull it off, Nashville SC will next face Lionel Messi and Inter Miami in the round of 16 for the Champions Cup. So fingers crossed that will be the case. Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Has it seemed like it's been raining mud the past couple of days? We'll have an explanation as to what it is and how it's happening.
Also, we had keeping adult material out of the hands of Tennessee children. The change is you could.
What's available? Some scratched, some didn't, some not, but all with big savings. Town & Country Ford in Madison.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Continuing coverage now in an effort to make it easier for ordinary people like you to challenge obscene materials in Tennessee libraries. A bill that could force library managers to keep that material out of the hands of minors took an important step forward today in the legislature.
This bill creates a petition process to establish community standards.
State Representative John Reagan of Knoxville explaining his library obscenity bill. It would essentially allow regular people to petition any local library to restrict access to materials they consider obscene to minors.
The taxpayers are the ones supporting these libraries. And in my mind, the taxpayer should have a direct say. And this bill gives them that.
As written, if you see a book or other materials you don't think kids should see, you tell the librarian about your objection. After that, they get a month to make a decision about limiting access.
This amendment sounds to me like there is that time without getting all the legal fees and involvement to be able to come together and talk.
In that 30-day period, no harm, no foul, no cost, negotiations, discussions, any changes can be made without a problem. If that's not satisfactory, then the group who wishes to file a petition can go out and get the petition.
There were questions about potential conflicts with existing school policies.
I think that it might actually override school policy. If it does, I just want to make sure that our schools know that their policy would need to reflect that.
There's a presumption that we know what the law is, and I think a court would say that the General Assembly intended for this to supersede that school's policy.
For critics who see limiting access as an attack on free speech, the sponsor reiterates this bill only restricts access to minors.
Now, Tennessee Senate version of this bill is also moving forward. We will keep you posted on their respective progress.
All right, happening right now this week, it's Nashville Restaurant Week here in Music City. Running February 26th through March 3rd, it's a unique opportunity for residents to take advantage of Music City's restaurant scene. Joining us now is Heather Middleton. She's Chief Marketing Officer of Nashville's Convention and Visitors Corporation. Thank you so much, Heather. What a unique program we have going on here.
Thanks, Megan. Yes, it's always fun time in February to celebrate the culinary scene in Nashville.
So talk with us about what we can expect this week. I know we have a lot of people moving to town who may not be familiar with Nashville Restaurant Week and the great deals you can score at so many different restaurants.
There are a lot of great deals this week. You know, we've been celebrating Nashville's restaurants all month with 20 chef collaboration dinners all throughout February. And this week in particular is Restaurant Week. So that means deals and discounts, specials on drinks, a $40 or $55 dinner selection, or a $25 prefix lunch selection at 50 different restaurants around town.
Yeah, I looked on your website. You've got all sorts of prefix menus at such a great price, that $55 price point for brunch, lunch, dinner, drink specials, deals, and discounts. So a unique opportunity to get out, maybe try a restaurant that you haven't been able to before at a discounted rate, and you get to sample everything from the appetizers, the entrees, even a dessert. Let's talk about the restaurant experiences. How do you have to get a ticket for that?
So some of them are still available. Yes, there are a few experiences left, a few collaboration dinners, and those are just one of a kind, one time only, different chefs around Nashville cooking together to create a unique experience, which is really unique and so Nashville to have these chefs collaborating.
Absolutely. And you also offer discount and local offerings as well. I'll post it on your website if you want to get online and maybe preview some of the restaurants and their prefix menus to see what speaks to you. On top of that, why is it important that you all put on Restaurant Week every year?
Well, there's a few reasons. You know, number one, it goes back to support charity. This year we are supporting Giving Kitchen and Big Table, and those organizations support our hospitality industry workers. So that's really important. And also February is a hard month traditionally for restaurants. So it's a great time to get out and support your local businesses.
All right, perfect. Well, of course, you can cash in on this. It only lasts for a few more days through March 3rd. So we're going to put all that information on the CVB's website, on our website at fox17.com if you want to check out those menus. Thank you so much, Heather.
Happening this week, Governor Lee declaring Friday Arbor Day in our state. Now, nationally, Arbor Day is generally celebrated at the end of April, but states like ours can change the day based on planting cycles. Experts will be at the Ellington Agricultural Center in South Nashville to offer planting advice on Friday, and that will start at 11:30.
Well, earlier in our newscast, we told you about our X poll up and running right now, asking the question, how is TDOT doing when it comes to responding to those pothole problems? Almost 400 votes have come in. Most people don't think it's great. 60.3% say they've done a poor job compared to 34.7% that said it's fair. 5% said they've done a good job. We'll have another update on these numbers for you tonight on Fox 17 News at 10. Each night, look for a brand new poll on our X page that you can participate in.
All right, turning to the weather. Of course, we had heavy rain this morning, and we've got cool temperatures. However, out in Texas, my wife and I were talking about that earlier. Wildfires.
I know, it's been devastating. People have lost their homes out there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, containment, as far as I'm seeing here, still at zero. So it is still a very active scene out there. This is video, yeah, from Fort Worth Fire Department up in the Panhandle of Texas. That's where the location is at this time, and boy, just hard to see. Over 500,000 acres, what I'm seeing from the Texas A&M Forestry Service. So it really is hard to see. And it is actually causing so much smoke that I think this is likely the cause of what has brought dust and, for what some people have been calling and asking about, mud rain here in Nashville. So those wildfires are still ongoing. This is a look at where we were just seeing that video from, just north of Amarillo. And smoke continues across much of the Panhandle, of course, where those fires are active. Now, in addition to that, we've been seeing dust storms out of Arizona and New Mexico. So I went and looked at a dust forecast for today. And lo and behold, these are the particles in the atmosphere here. And notice the direction that it takes all the way through Tennessee. And these particles are throughout the entire atmosphere. But notice the shape that it takes. That's our cold front from today. So this was from 2 p.m. And so those dust particles were just riding along the front of the cold front where those showers were. So probable, or at least possible, that we were looking at mud rain, where it's just dust and particles that were falling from the sky and coming down in those raindrops. And once again, we look in the upper level winds. This was this afternoon, same time period of that forecast that I was just showing. And again, the upper level wind pattern right on target from New Mexico, Arizona, and the Panhandle of Texas, right into Nashville, Tennessee, so, and much of Tennessee here. So we go forward in time as we head through Thursday and then into Friday. We've got another chance for rain that is coming in. Possible we could see maybe a little bit more smoke moving our direction. Now, keep in mind the winds with this cold front were intense, and I think that definitely played a role in the dust on our cars as well. So probably won't be as bad, if any, for Friday, but I know a lot of us have been dealing with this nice little film on the car and wondering, what was that? I actually saw some dust blowing around yesterday and kind of gave me pause trying to figure out what that was. Sure enough, I think it was the combination of dust and some smoke from the wildfires headed our way. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. 50 degrees for tomorrow. We're up to 55 on Friday. Saturday, Sunday back to the 70s. And we'll start next week with a chance of storms with highs in the mid-70s.
Offers end 2/29.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone. This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Bart Durham Injury Law.
Turning now to Operation Crime and Justice, Metro Police investigating a shooting that left a teenager hurt. It happened tonight at the Fallbrook Apartments in East Nashville, just off Dickerson Pike and north of Trinity Lane. No word yet on what sparked the violence, but police say a 16-year-old had to be taken to the hospital. That teenager will survive.
In politics now, Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell is giving up his Republican leadership post. McConnell didn't cite a specific reason for the decision other than to say, and I'm quoting here, it's time to move on to life's next chapter. Although McConnell suffered a concussion from a fall last year and has frozen twice during public news conferences. His aides say that his decision to step down is not related to health. McConnell is the longest-serving party leader in U.S. Senate history. McConnell turned 82 last week and says he plans to finish out his current term in the Senate, which will end in 2027.
The passing of a beloved comic, how actor and comedian Richard Lewis is being remembered tonight.
Most popular SUVs in Middle Tennessee with big discounts. Low 1.9% financing for 5 years and powertrain for life with your new Nissan here at North Nashville's Nissan of Rivergate in Madison.
In entertainment news, Hollywood and comedy fans are mourning the passing of funny man Richard Lewis tonight.
Well, the longtime stand-up comedian and Curb Your Enthusiasm cast member passed away at his L.A. home yesterday. A publicist says Lewis died of a heart attack.
Now, Lewis had also been battling Parkinson's disease. On X, Albert Brooks calling Lewis a brilliantly funny man, going on to say the world needed him now more than ever. Richard Lewis is survived by his wife Joyce Lipinski. Lewis was 76.
I'm Atrell Nashar in Washington, where President Biden is touting a nationwide drop in crime. Coming up, how it squares with how people say they feel during this election year.
I'm Kayla Gaskins in Washington. Coming up, the nationwide impact of 22-year-old Laken Riley's death in Georgia.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
We begin with breaking news as the search intensifies for this missing Sumner County teenager with autism.
I'll take a good look at your screen here. This is 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. He disappeared Monday morning and hasn't been seen since. With tonight's cold weather moving in, there is more pressure to find him. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live from the Shackle Island community, where that search crews are tirelessly working to find him. Caitlin.
Yes, well, the community of Sumner County came together through the power of prayer tonight, praying that 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers makes a safe return to his family. Now, this prayer vigil took place at Northfield Church in Gallatin. Families say that they're heartbroken to see people in their community go through something like this. Director of Sumner County Emergency Management Ken Weiner says that they're concerned about the heavy rainfall earlier, dropping temperatures tonight, and the potential for hypothermia. So he says it's critical to find him as soon as possible. Widener says they're using all of the resources they can, including horses, ATVs, drones, helicopters, and more. And the community says they're helping too.
It's heart-wrenching because it could happen to any one of us. And I have grown-up children, I have grandchildren, but it does make me so sad that we can't find him. He's out there somewhere.
Sebastian is 5'5" with brown hair and brown eyes. Weiner says he was last seen near Beach High School wearing a black sweatshirt and sweatpants with glasses. Now, Weiner says if you do live in this area or are driving around this area, to please keep a lookout for this 15-year-old boy. And if you do see him or get any leads, to call 911 immediately. Reporting live from Sumner County, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Tonight in Crisis in the Classroom, some Metro parents and students want answers about why the school district and its leaders are planning to drop the 7th and 8th grades at Martin Luther King Jr. Magnet School in North Nashville. District leaders say the move will create more room for future high school students. But here's the rub. No one's clamoring to get into the high school, but MLK Junior High has a long waiting list. The school has high academic standards, which parents say helps children learn at a faster pace.
The unique experience that MLK offers is so important to many families, and it doesn't make any sense to me why we would take away something that is working so well and shift it somewhere else and rename it.
Well, toward that end, Fox 17 News reached out to all Metro School Board members asking why they are intent on fixing something that faculty and parents say isn't broken. Not a single response from any of them. We did get a lengthy statement from Metro Schools praising this decision. It says, in part, the new grade configurations would create alignment with the rest of the district, end quote. Now, Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' commitment to you to expose problems in our schools and to find solutions. If you have a story you think we should cover, tell us about it. Send it in email form to news@fox17.com, or you can phone our tip line, which is 615-266-4149.
Well, Tennessee apparently has the most pothole complaints in the entire country. That's according to location tag data and hashtags on the social media app X. This data collected by City Bread, a travel design company, through tracking tweets, hashtags, and specific keywords surrounding potholes. Rounding out the top 5, Indiana at number 2, Arkansas at number 3, Kansas at number 4, Vermont at number 5, and Tennessee taking that number 1 spot. Well, we want to know, what do you think? How is TDOT doing when it comes to responding to these pothole problems? 403 people have voted. 60.8% say they're doing a poor job. 5% said they're doing a good job, and 34.2% said they're doing a fair job.
Well, we start with a live look here over our South Nashville camera. A big difference in our temperatures compared to where we were yesterday, as we are sitting in the low 40s, upper 30s, in fact, in a lot of spots, and will continue to drop as we head through the overnight. Temperatures dropping to the upper 20s. We take a look at our big temperature swing from this morning. Around 6:45, temperature was at 71. 2 hours later, 49, and then we continued to fall and kind of held steady in those mid 40s for the day, and now looking at 20s for the overnight. The good news is the radar is quiet now. All of those rain showers are well to our east, and the wind has come down as well. Still a few folks out and about enjoying the weather at this hour. Our temperature for tomorrow morning in those upper 20s, by 7 a.m. right around 30 degrees. Should top off in the mid 30s as we head towards 9 o'clock, looking at that partly cloudy sky. We'll walk you through our next rain chance. It's not too far away. We'll have it timing it out hour by hour in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Thanks, Katie. In politics tonight, former President Donald Trump is no longer on the ballot in Illinois. This is based on a ruling from a state judge citing insurrection and the ban involving the 14th Amendment. Now, this comes as a similar challenge is pending now in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. Experts expect the nation's highest court to reject arguments that this clause supports the ban, the clause in the Constitution. The decision paused, so right now Mr. Trump has a short time to appeal. Similar bans are on hold presently in Colorado and Maine, awaiting appeals there.
I'm Atrell Nashar in Washington.
Football, sure.
Good guess.
The Big Bang Theory.
Tomorrow at 6 on Fox 17.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Tennessee Home Buyers.
Tonight in Operation Crime and Justice, President Biden hosting law enforcement leaders from across America at the White House.
As Fox 17 News' Atrell Nashar explains, Mr. Biden emphasized the national decline in most forms of violent crime, but critics say more needs to be done.
President Biden crediting his administration's actions for a substantial drop in crime across the country last year.
Murder, rape, aggravated assault, robbery all dropped sharply.
Now calling on Congress to approve $37 billion for crime prevention and to hire 100,000 police officers. According to the Council on Criminal Justice, most crime rates are declining, but are still generally higher than pre-pandemic levels. Gallup polls show personal safety fears are at a nearly 30-year high, but just 3% of Americans say crime and violence is the most important problem facing the country, far behind economic issues and immigration. And voters say they trust Republicans more than Democrats on the issue, 46% to 20%, according to an NBC News poll taken last fall.
The Biden administration is soft on crime. So we've had years of soft on crime prosecutors, including, unfortunately, in some of our cities in Missouri.
You often hear folks blame an increase or decrease in crime on whether the city or state is run by a Democrat or Republican. Does the data back up accusations like that?
It doesn't. There's no serious way to look at the political leadership at the city level or the state level when there are lags involved and all kinds of other confounding factors.
The president's approach to crime has evolved over the decades.
Would you stand, Senator Joe Biden?
During the Clinton administration, then Senator Biden was an architect of the 1994 crime bill. At the time, he said this about violent criminals.
They must be taken off the street.
The crime bill was later blamed for over-criminalization of black Americans. During his 2020 campaign, Biden said this.
Was it a mistake to support it?
Yes, it was. But here's where the mistake came. The mistake came in terms of what the states did locally.
And it's at the local level where experts say the most progress can be made, but that departments still need clearer data and guidance from the federal government to build on that progress. In Washington, I'm Atrell Nishar reporting.
Well, tomorrow is Leap Day. Comes around every 4 years, or does it? It is, well, most of the time, the answer, yes, it does. Now, the next time that 4-year cycle is going to be broken, though, is going to be the year 2100. The last time it happened, 1900, so it doesn't happen a lot. Math's a little tricky in all this because of the Earth's orbit. The days are not exactly 365 for a year, but going by 365 and a quarter gives us too much extra time. It's actually like 365.242 days a year. So if we didn't make up those decimals, eventually the seasons would be messed up, then Christmas would be in the summer, and nobody wants that.
I'm Kayla Gaskins in Washington. Coming up, the nationwide impact of 22-year-old Laken Riley's death in Georgia.
2023 and 2024 vehicle trims.
Hurry into the Nissan Thrill of the Drive sales event.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Zander Insurance.
Starbucks and Workers United, the union representing employees in hundreds of its stores, say they have agreed to bargaining discussions that could lead to a work agreement. The National Labor Relations Board says around 390 of the company's more than 9,700 stores were unionized as of earlier this month. Tesla CEO Elon Musk says its new Roadster sports car will be revealed by the end of the year. He plans to start shipping the car next year. It was originally planned for 2020. The announcement comes as multiple reports say Apple is scrapping its plans to build an electric car, shutting down the Project Titan electric vehicle unit after 10 years. The company has spent billions of dollars on the project. Employees will be shifted to other roles, in particular artificial intelligence. There could be layoffs as well. And TSA PreCheck travelers at certain airports will no longer have to show ID or a boarding pass. New PreCheck technology allows a touchless ID where members can go through security with a face scan. Right now, this is only available for United passengers at O'Hare Airport in Chicago and LAX. That's business in New York. CJ Papa, Fox News.
A wave of violent crimes committed by undocumented migrants now drawing the attention of America's immigration lawyers.
Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins breaking down those numbers tonight.
The murder of a 22-year-old nursing student in Georgia by an illegal migrant rocked the nation.
Our hearts are breaking this morning for the family of Laken Riley.
While her death is spurring calls for an immigration crackdown on migrants who commit violent crimes.
People don't realize that a lot of these individuals are predators in the Latino community.
Some on the left, like California Congresswoman Katie Porter, disagree.
There is a sense of outrage, of sadness, and of loss. But I think the important thing to focus on is any one instance shouldn't shape our overall immigration policy.
Critics quick to counter, pointing out the murder in Georgia was not a standalone incident.
On January 27th, NYPD officers were attacked. At least 2 in the mob were illegal migrants from Venezuela. Then on February 14th, 3 police officers in Washington, D.C. were shot by an illegal migrant during a barricade situation. And on February 22nd, Laken Riley was murdered in Georgia. This past Sunday, a Honduran man was arrested for allegedly raping a 14-year-old and stabbing another victim in an armed robbery in Louisiana. And on Monday, a Salvadoran was arrested for allegedly murdering a 2-year-old in Maryland.
Although the vast majority of migrants in the U.S. illegally are not committing crimes, in recent weeks, Border Patrol cracking down on those with violent criminal pasts, arresting hundreds.
We cannot keep our communities safe. The president and really Secretary Mayorkas has made our cities, our sanctuary cities and other cities very unsafe.
A problem is once these people reach sanctuary cities like D.C. and New York, they can't be deported, even if they commit violent crimes, causing even some Democratic leaders like New York's Mayor Eric Adams to call for changes. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Continuing coverage as President Biden plans to head to the southern border tomorrow.
He wanted to show that it was important for him to go down there to hear from Border Patrol agents, to hear from first responders and what's going on the ground.
Mr. Biden will be in Brownsville, Texas, while former President Trump visits Eagle Pass. The visit comes amid reports the White House is considering action to turn away asylum seekers at the U.S.-Mexico border if they cross illegally. Republicans have attacked the president's handling of the border.
The border security issue is critical. I've been talking about this for 3 years since President Biden came forward with basically a catch and release program. He's been cycling through now over 9 million illegal immigrants into this country.
President Biden is also expected to highlight the need for Congress to pass the bipartisan border security agreement. Republican lawmakers rejected the bill earlier this month after former President Trump lobbied against it. Mr. Trump has made immigration a key issue in his re-election campaign, blaming Biden's policies for the surge in crossings.
Nice chilly evening across the area as temperatures drop back into the upper 20s for early Thursday morning. Starting off again, a look downtown. You can see off in the corner there, that's Geodis Park, where Nashville SC just finished their game and looks like they won too. So that's good news. Live look again. Things will be quiet for tonight and chilly conditions as we head towards tomorrow morning with lows dropping back into those upper 20s here in Nashville. Some areas could be in the mid-20s here. We walk you through the temperatures area-wide, and you can see all the way through tomorrow morning, right around 28, 29 here in town, 28 in Clarksville, Dickson, Columbia around 28 as well. Could be slightly cooler as we head towards Cookeville and Crossville. Then we get into the afternoon. It's really not going to warm too much. We'll struggle to reach 50 for the day, and that's almost 10 degrees below average for this time of year. So we're getting more towards 60 degrees to be average for us. Overnight into early Friday morning will be quite as cold. We'll have clouds moving in. This is going to be ahead of our next rain chance, which is on the way mainly for Friday. We dry out Saturday, Sunday, and then we'll have another chance for showers moving in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. The good news is I don't see severe weather for any of those time periods as of now. We take a look at the next couple of days here, at least through tonight. High pressure around that keeps the first half of the day mainly clear. But we get into the afternoon hours, we'll start to see showers spilling in from the south and west, and we'll eventually see the rain here in town. This is Thursday night, 10 p.m. Overnight into early Fridays when the showers should arrive. Should make for somewhat of a sloppy morning commute on Friday. Won't be anything near what we had this morning, but could have some pockets of rain around. Not going to be quite as windy either. But we'll continue to see those showers as we head through Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday, or I should say Saturday morning, with mainly cloudy skies. So we'll continue to see, I'd say, a decent amount of cloud cover, at least through the middle part of Saturday morning. Temperature tonight, right around 28 degrees. We're up to about 50 for the afternoon hours on weekday. We check out the rest of the week and into the weekend. Highs close to 70 again Saturday and Sunday, and 70s going into next week.
I know what he means to the city and to the team, and I'm looking forward.
2024 Tiguan S for $279 a month after a $500 customer bonus.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by the Nashville Preds.
Really excited about how we're set up and how it's going to work in this draft process.
Titans' new head coach Brian Callahan gearing up for his first NFL draft, and it all starts this week at the NFL Combine. Of course, the draft is the biggest part of the offseason for NFL teams, But free agency comes first, and the Titans have a big decision to make about a certain franchise running back. And Coach Callahan and General Manager Rand Carthon have both been in touch with Derrick Henry and had this to say when it comes to the future of the King.
I think that there's a great relationship with him and the organization that I know that he's always going to have the Titans in his heart. So whatever that looks like moving forward, we'll keep working through it. But I know what he means to the city and to the team, and I'm looking forward to getting to know him.
Derrick and I had a good conversation on the way out, and he knows where we are and we know where he is. I think you guys that have been around, a year know that we don't really talk about, players' contract status in public. But we'll be well positioned to do whatever we need to do.
Carthon isn't exaggerating about being in a good position. According to the NFL Players Association records, Titans have the most salary cap space going into this offseason at around $90 million. Now, that front office is trying to make this franchise one of the best. And, well, this might help. The NFL Players Association releasing their team report cards today, and the Titans were graded as the 18th best team to play for. The highest grades belong to ownership, also the former head coach, and strength and conditioning. The lowest grades belonging to travel, because the Titans are one of the few teams to share a room on the road, and the other low grade, treatment of family. Titans don't have a family room on game days, and the players gave the team a D. 4th-ranked Tennessee Vols taking on 11th-ranked Auburn Tigers in a big SEC showdown tonight. Vols led by just 4 at the half, but that's when Vols star guard Dalton Knecht kicked it into high gear. The senior matched his career high with 39 points, including 27 in the second half alone. He'd finished 12 of 21 from the field, 5 of 8 from behind the arc. Vols win 92-84 and have moved into first place in the SEC standings. Nashville SC back in action tonight, hosting Mocha FC for the first round series of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. The good news is Nashville already beat this team in their first match last week on the road, so all the boys in gold have to do is win, tie, or lose by less than 3 goals, and they're moving on. Nashville holding nothing back at the Castle, and just 13 minutes into the match, Mackenzie Gaines able to find the back of the net for the first goal of the game. Boys in gold then kept the foot on the gas, 37th minute mark. Forster Ajago nets it in the second goal, making it 2-0 Nashville lead. That was first of 2 goals for Ajago tonight. He'd also score the 4th and final one for Nashville as the boys in gold win it 4-0 over Mocha FC. Now with the win, Nashville SC advances in the Champions Cup, and that means the club will next face Lionel Messi and Inter Miami in the round of 16. Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
A breakthrough trial testing a new vaccine
of F-150s plus 1.9% financing for 72 months available. Some scratched, some didn't, some not, but all with big savings. Town and Country Ford in Madison.
We have breaking news tonight from Antioch, where Metro Police say someone shot at one of their officers. This is a live look at the scene near Murfreesboro Road and Rural Hill Road. Fox 17 News is working to get additional information about what prompted the gunfire and potentially a search for suspects. We'll keep you posted online. In health news tonight, cancer researchers are looking for patients to help test a new vaccine.
Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonas shares how it could lead to a new frontier in finding a cure.
Hey there, everybody. Hello to you. This trial testing a vaccine to treat pancreatic cancer. It could have a huge impact, researchers say, in cancer not often discovered until later stages.
This study is designed for those who are still candidates for surgery when diagnosed with pancreas cancer, who are also treated with chemotherapy.
And in addition to the standard surgery and chemotherapy, they also get this very personalized vaccine created using their own tumor's profile.
That means when the patient has surgery, a piece of the tumor is taken and sent to a laboratory to match the patient's own tumor signature, as it's called.
And that is used to create a personalized vaccine, which is then sent back to us, and we give 6 doses of that vaccine once a week to the patients.
Dr. Devendra Sohal of Ohio's University of Cincinnati, one of the largest Midwest sites for this trial, says the vaccine is an mRNA vaccine. That's the same kind made to work against COVID-19. It prompts the body's own cells to stimulate the immune system to fight back. Early studies to help launch this trial have shown promising results compared to the standard of care.
50% of those who received the vaccine so far have been cured, and that is a remarkable progress.
Now, we do have information online if you or someone you love might benefit from this trial. Having even this kind of success rate could really save lives in the more than 66,000 people expected to be diagnosed with this illness in the U.S. just this year. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
All right, Katie, get us ready for tomorrow morning.
Cold. Temperatures will be in the upper 30s or upper 20s for tomorrow morning. And we're up to about 50 for the afternoon. And